Alright, so now let's talk about the drag field. Well, this field executes a force of frictions which is proportional to the overall speed of the particles, which simply means that it will slow down the speed of the particles and this will result in a slow motion. Let's play the timeline and see what we have in our scene. You can see some of the particles are falling from the upward directions, and these particles are having their own speed, their own velocities, and they are actually under the impact of the gravity. Alright, so let's do one thing. Let's select these particles and go inside the field solver menu, use the option drag, and let me reposition the drag over here. So this is the icon of the drag, and now let's press Ctrl A. Let's increase the magnitude of the drag to a high value, that is 25, and dip down the attenuations. If we play the timeline, you will see now the overall behavior of the particle has been significantly dipped down. Now the particle motion is very slow, and this is actually creating some very nice and interesting effects. Alright, sometimes it is the requirement of the shot that we have to create things like this. So this can also be very useful when you actually demand some artistic or some aesthetically driven shots. So this is really very nice. Alright, now let's do one thing. Let's explore the further attributes of the drag. Well, we can also counter this slowdown effect by increasing the speed attenuations. If we increase the timeline and if I increase the value, you can notice that now the particles have started moving a little bit more faster. It seems like they are falling with their own earlier speed. So this speed attenuation will try to reduce the impact of the magnitude. So you can also use this, and you can also key this. So instead of increasing or decreasing the value of the magnitude, you can also play down with this attribute. So speed attenuation is quite good. Alright, now let's do another interesting thing. Let's use the volume shape and let's limit the overall scope of this field inside a sphere. Alright, so let's go inside over here, use the option sphere. Now let's do one thing. Let's increase the size of the sphere. If I place it down over here and play the timeline, you'll see nothing will happen. And let's also do one more thing. Let's select the emitter and reduce the rate, keep it to the 0 because we don't want the particles falling from the top. And let's select this field, and now let's do some interactive playback. Alright, now if I move the speed, you can see as such nothing is happening because we haven't utilized a important attribute, that is the inherent velocities. Alright, the moment we use this, now if you drag your field, particles will also follow the motion and particles will be dragged with the field. Now let's play the interactive playback and notice the change. Now you can actually able to drag the particles. So this is something which is really very important. And there is one interesting thing in this which makes this a little different with respect to the air field, and that is if you move the particles and if you roll them back, you'll see that the particles are actually inside the overall range, and it also depends upon the overall speed of your field. If you just drag to really very high value, you'll see particles will try to lose the grip, or particles will try to move away from the effective range of this volume. But when you drag your field, you'll notice that the particles will actually move little slow, and this also creates a nice effect of the drag. So you can see something really very nice. Alright, so this is all about the drag field. Now let's take a pause over here and we'll move to the next clip where we talk about the another interesting field, that is the vortex.